Layali Lubnan literally means the Nights of Lebanon, probably because it's really famous in Lebanon, and it is a super tasty, super easy dessert. Hey everyone, welcome to Jude's Kitchen. I'm Jude, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a super easy dessert that you will not regret making. This is a vegan recipe and can easily become gluten-free. It's so simple. It literally takes me like 8 minutes to make it, and then I put it in the fridge and then it's ready. I've made this version as a cheesecake, but you don't have to do that. The traditional ways of doing it without cheesecake, and maybe the first time you make it, don't do it as a cheesecake. Try it as it is, and then maybe try it with a cheesecake. It reminds me a bit of a cheesecake, but I say it's even better because it has miscut, it has pistachios, and it has so many flavors that you wouldn't find in a normal traditional cheesecake. I've made this recipe for multiple friends and they all loved it, so I hope that you will love it as well. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, then please hit the button down below because I will be posting new delicious vegan Middle Eastern recipes every Wednesday, so make sure you stay tuned. So first we're going to start with doing the base. What you'll need to do is to break 250 grams of biscuits. You can either do it with your hands, or you can just do it in a food processor if you're lazy like me. It took me like a minute. I just whacked it in there, blend it for like 1 minute, and then it was done. I don't know why I put that there, because I need to mix them together first. So what we're going to do is we're going to put vegan butter, mix the vegan butter with the biscuits, and then we're going to mix them together. So this is just to make the base for the cheesecake. I mean, if you've made cheesecakes before, then you're probably familiar with this. So you need 100 grams of butter, vegan butter of course, which equals to 7 tablespoons of butter, and then 250 grams of biscuits, which equals to almost half, a bit more than half a packet of digestives. I like to give everything in cups and spoons just because I'm that kind of person that is always googling what is 100 grams into cups, what is 200 grams into spoons. Right, that looks pretty good. So now we're just gonna put it in the tin. So we want to make it into the base and we want to cool it for an hour. Of course, if you want to make this gluten-free, please do use gluten-free digestives. Right, so that looks pretty good. When it's all equally distributed, we're gonna put it in the fridge now to chill for an hour. It probably will take less than that, but an hour max. As soon as you feel like it's actually all held together, then you can take it out. As you guys can see, I bought a stove because I thought it would make my whole life easier, because it means I can cook in the kitchen without bothering anyone. So first we're going to put a whole carton of milk in there. So a whole carton of plant-based milk. I'm using almond, but you can use anything. I'm using almond because almond's my favorite, as you all know. So once the milk warms up, we need to add 3 things. The first thing is 3 to 5 rocks of mastic gum. I told you where to get them in the sahlab video, but I'll also add in the description where you can find them. And then we have 3 tablespoons of sugar and 3/4 of a cup is samolina. As I said, I always like to use cups and tablespoons just because it is much easier to measure. Not everyone has measuring tools, so I thought it'd be much easier because, as I said, I am that person that's always googling what is 100 grams into cups, what is 200 grams into tablespoons. So now that it's kind of warmed up, we can add the mistka, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and you can use any alternative to sugar if you don't want. Brown sugar is always better, of course. I'm using Cup sugar. I think that's the only thing I could find in our cupboard, but brown sugar would absolutely work. Also any alternative for sugar like syrup, maple syrup, or agave, or anything you want really. And then we're going to add 3/4 of samolina. You can also find gluten-free samolina, so this recipe can easily become gluten-free. I know, I was really shocked that there's gluten-free samolina. I couldn't believe it, but you can find it and it's online, so definitely get some. I could put the link for it actually, just to make it easier for you guys. And that way, for those who have a gluten-free diet or are celiac, can easily enjoy this recipe too. So now let's add the samolina. Mix it about. You can see that there's a lot of clumps. Make sure that you get rid of all the clumps. So So the recipe for Layali Lubnan is actually without the biscuits. So I'm just making a Layali Lubnan cheesecake. Layali Lubnan is definitely one of my favorite desserts. It's definitely one of those desserts as a child I'd be like, oh my god, you know, you have one bite of it and you could finish a whole tray to yourself. والحلوة دي قامت تعجن بالفجرية وديك بينده كوكو كوكو بالفجرية يلا بنا على باب الله يا صنايعية يجعل صباحك صباح الخير يا استعطية. So once it starts bubbling up, just put it in a bit of a lower heat. Make sure there's no clumps because we are going to get it off the hob in a sec, and we're going to let it cool down for a bit before we add it to the biscuits, because you don't want that stuff to be really hot because it will make those biscuits soggy and we don't want that. Look at how thick it's getting, which is brilliant, just what we want. I thought I would marry both the Western and the Eastern recipes, because why not? Everyone loves cheesecake. I love Layali Lubnan, but also if you guys just want to make this as Layali Lubnan, the typical way, the traditional way, the Palestinian way. I don't know if it's Palestinian because Layali Lubnan literally, as I said, means the nights of Lebanon. So maybe it is a Lebanese recipe. But, you know, borders and things weren't a thing until released recently, like the Levant, which is Palestine, Jordan, Syria and Lebanon, were one state not long ago. We were all one. So that's why we have very similar accents, very similar food, very similar everything. So make sure that all the clumps are gone. We don't want no clumps. Right, let's turn it off. So now what we're going to do while we wait for the mixture to cool down, on a medium heat we're going to add 1 cup of water, half a cup of sugar, and that is what we call atar, sugar water. Tiniest bit. And that's done. We're literally done with the sugar water. It takes a minute to make, and then all we need to do is just wait for the base and the actual thing, Layali Lubnan, to cool down. So let's set this aside. So now it's time to assemble everything together. This is how your base should look like. It looks very held together to me. I've left it in the fridge for an hour. So now we're going to add the bit with the samolina that we use, which is what's going to be kind of the cheesecake type thing. Again, I do repeat, if you guys only want to make this the traditional way, don't do the cheesecake. You don't have to do the biscuits. All you need to do is do this. You don't even have to let it cool down. You just put it straight into a pot, let it cool down for a little bit in the fridge, and then you add the cream at the end. So now we want to spread it. And now for cream, I use oat cream. I love this one so much because I genuinely think that it tastes better than the real stuff. Genuinely do. And what you want to do is just pour it all over and then add a bit of this on top, a bit of pistachios. We add the sugar water at the end, so just store it in a Tupperware or a jar, or don't make it until this is all firm again. So this will take about 4 hours or overnight for it to cool down. And we're all done. Now all you need to do is sprinkle it with lots and lots and lots of ground pistachios on top, and add some sugar water too. Add sugar water according to how sweet you want it to be. Add a little bit and try it, see if it's sweet enough or not, but I usually add 3 tablespoons on each slice. But as I said, try it and see how much syrup you want on yours. And as we say in Arabic, صحتين وعافية. Don't forget to tag me or send any pictures if you do attempt to make this recipe or any of the other recipes. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because I will be posting new delicious vegan Middle Eastern recipes every Wednesday. So make sure you stay tuned. Oh my god, to die for. Absolutely to die for.
You guys, you have to try this recipe. It's so good. I also do remember I said that I gave my rolling pin to, my rolling pin was borrowed from my neighbour. I gave her some as a thank you. And she loved it, and I was really glad that she loved it. And I was like, expect many more Arabic desserts in the future, because I always have so much after filming. Because obviously you have to try the recipe, and then you have to film it, and then you end up with having 2 batches of like massive trays of desserts. I'm like, I can't eat all of that. But thankfully, as I said, after the COVID situation, the neighbours set up a group, and it meant that we can be in contact with everyone, so it never goes to waste, because I've got lovely neighbours that are always happy to take some off my hand and help me out if I needed any tool or anything for my kitchen. I absolutely love Layali Lubnan. A, because it's super easy to make. B, because it is so delicious. The first time I had Layali Lubnan was actually in Hebron. I hope it was. I hope it wasn't like, I hope my mom, I don't remember that my mum used to make it, but I hope she doesn't watch this video and think, Jude, you ungrateful. You know I make this all the time. But to be fair, I'm known to have a very good memory, because I literally can pinpoint, if someone tells me like, oh yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, I can pinpoint exactly when was the last time I saw them. And I can pinpoint exactly what they were wearing, what they were doing, and where we were. Anyway, so I think that I haven't had this before, and the first time I had it was in Hebron, when I went volunteering once. And the people from Hebron there that were volunteering with us insisted, absolutely insisted, that we go back to their homes and eat with their families, even though the families weren't expecting us. And I was like, are you sure? But they were so kind. There were so many volunteers, and they literally like split us all between their different homes, and their families were so hospitable, so lovely, and they gave us so much food. And Layali Lubnan, that was the first time I had it, and I was like, how have I not had this before? God, you forget, like, and the thing is, like, every Palestinian home makes different stuff. Like my mom's specialty was definitely sahlab, which is I shared in episode 2. Please watch if you haven't already. And sahlab, ruz b'halib, rice pudding, which I'm definitely going to do soon. Many different ones, but Layali Lubnan was not one of them. And when I had it that time, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I mean, going back to the people that hosted us, they were so kind and so loving and so lovely, and they didn't even know us. They met us that day. So it just, one thing that I absolutely love about Palestine is how tight our community is. We have such a tight community, with people always supporting and helping each other as much as we can. Anyway, I hope I haven't been waffling for too much, but as I said, I will always do a little video like this at the end to talk about Palestine and talk about our culture and talk about our embroidery and talk about everything. I want you all to know the beautiful bits about Palestine, because Palestine is such a beautiful country. If you enjoyed me talking about Palestine, let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe, because I will be posting new delicious vegan Middle Eastern recipes every Wednesday. So make sure you stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.